This is my go-to setup here. Is the layout is Cougar. I call it Cougar, so I try to think of myself as a cougar and not a lion. And the difference is a cougar, well, a lion, they will chase. They go out into the prairie, they hunt down, they chase. They have a lot of injuries. They die. They have to breed more frequently. And a cougar will climb up into a tree and sit there for 90% of its time. It'll scout out a spot where a deer might be going, and it'll climb up in a tree, and then it waits for the deer to come, and it drops down onto that deer and snaps its neck and eats it. And if it gets away, it never chases. So they consequently have a lot less injuries. So that's how I like to trade. Is I like to think of myself as a cougar. So that's the cougar layout. But this is my main swing. It's where I look for swings and stocks in play, and I do day trade out of this layout. This is pretty much what I use. Once the market's open, I'm in this layout. Then I have pre-market layout and pre-post market layout. And this is a layout that I have where I'm just going through. I organized things through watch lists. And I go through that usually a few times a week. But that's it. Those are the three main layouts. I have a ton of other layouts. See, I used to take a lot of Adderall, and I don't anymore. But if you want to really go crazy and waste a lot of time building indicators and layouts in TC2000, take some Adderall, because that's what it made me do. And I realized, why am I doing this? It's because of the Adderall addiction. So I quit that stuff. Wow, look at this nice cup, this beautiful cup breakout that it had. But anyway, the actual, so here I have the chart layout that I'm looking at most of the time. And then over here I have, when I'm swing trading, looking at stuff like after hours, I generally have it on a weekly chart, and that looks at the relative strength. And this is looking at just the moving averages. This is the price, but the price is hitting, the relative strength is hitting. It's just looking at the moving averages, sales, revenue percent change, and then EPS percent change as well. So Kravana, you can see, okay, sales have been going up, then they've pulled back. Earnings are kind of going up here. Well, you look at the EPS growth, I have that over here as well. So double digit, that's good. But I think that's going up as more of a short squeeze. So that, and then if I'm doing it, so I hit F8. Yeah, there we go. So if I'm day trading, I'll generally switch it over where I just have the relative strength up here. And that is showing the line, as well as a line chart of the price action. So right now, on a 1 minute, this is a swing trade for me. Oh no, Kava, I don't have a position on it, but it can help. It helps somewhat. But mostly I'm looking at here, and I'm looking at my signals. So I'm looking at, I've got one moving average, basically. Well, I've also had the 200 as well, but one main moving average. Then I have this built out with custom indicators, or scripts or whatever. So green is a buy signal. White is like a sideways action. Pink is a sell signal, but it's just a signal. And I got this from Modified Darvis Box. And my signals are different than his, but the whole concept is just because you see a signal doesn't mean it's the reaction to the signal. So here you had a big signal. Maybe let's look at a better chart. That's a good one right there. Okay, so Nvidia, let's look at the weekly, because this was a beautiful setup. And let's look at, so look at revenues screaming up higher. Earnings are up massively. Everything's up. And then if you look at the weekly, the 10 always stayed above the 40 on both of these charts. And it's going sideways, right? And so you have whites, and then you get a buy signal here. The reaction is it's up, and it's still going sideways. But you're looking for, basically it's forming a box. I like to draw usually just one line like that, and it breaks above it. Then you're getting in, and the volume is there. Huge buying. But I also had this weekly squeeze indicator. Now the squeeze, this is my own version of it, of the what's his name, John Carter squeeze. It's pretty similar. I just have more colors that I built out. So white is as tight as it gets, black is medium, and red is a regular squeeze. So think of it as really tight, loosening up, and then it fires. Blue is when it fires. And then this is moving average is in blue. And so obviously green, when you see in green, that's above the average. Same for red if it's so selling. And then white, these are new. When it's up here, I believe that's a new 252 bar high, the white dots. So just a quick and easy way to look at, like, okay, well, did it make a new high or not? And then yellow is like makes a new high, then it comes back. I forget exactly what that is. New 10 bar lows is the light red. New 20 bar lows is red. And then I have like a sell signal in here. So I'm not always really looking at that. It's just a quick reference point where I'm like trying to see if something made a new high or not. So like here you had a daily squeeze, Kravana, and then you had new 10 bar highs. Then you had a new 20 bar high and you had a buy signal. So it's like just taking like a combination of factors. And a lot of this, I think I'm just like, I've looked at so many charts over the years, like it's just subconscious that my subconscious, I'm hoping is picking up on this stuff. But yeah, so you had a squeeze and then you had buying volume here. You had a buy signal, so you take it above. As it goes above, you can set your stop there. So if you bought it right there, if you bought it at the high of that day and just held it, I mean, that's a 69% move. So when it's orange is like a hot uptrend. So you can see, so blue is an uptrend. Orange is as hot as it gets, the way that I have it coded. So a lot of times you'll see stuff, it'll like change between orange and blue. So sometimes that could mean that something is slowing down. So if you look at Nvidia on a 2-hour chart, made this nice run. It stayed above the moving average the whole time. You had a sell signal here, but the reaction was it was bought. And then here you had a nice squeeze set up, really tight action. Look how tight it is at the price. It's just going sideways, tight, tight, tight. Basically 4 bars in a row at the moving average. And the volume is there, but it's like, it's not closing at the lows, it's closing at the highs. So really, even though it's red, it's kind of being bought up. But anyway, it curls up there and then it gaps up the next day. You don't get a really traditional buy signal, but you could have bought a smaller position in here just based off of the squeeze, and it's holding and getting tight. So again, here, sell signal, the reaction is it's bought up, buy signal. But this is where you have a sell signal, and now the reaction is it's sold. Right? But this is right before earnings. So, maybe you could have traded that as like a day trade. But obviously you wouldn't want to hold that into earnings. So that's a one way to recharge. So that, and you can look at that on, whatever time frame you're on, the signals work the same way. And the indicators and all of that stuff. So that is the chart explanation. Here I have, this is the main scan that I use. It's Bull-A, and it's just something that I built out that's custom. But the whole concept is it's a breakout. Let's see. It's a breakout above it. Generally, it's set to a minimum ADR. So I do like to look for high ADR stocks. That's something that's important to me. And it's set to like, okay, well, it's also an ADR breakout as well. But if it has a really high ADR, it might not be. So if Kravana's ADR is 8.5%, it's up 15%. It's up twice its ADR today. That's how it's getting on this list. But Kravana, if it were up 5%, it would still probably be on this list because this ADR is so high. But the whole concept is it's like a little bit more than a bull combo criteria. It's like taking bull combo and adding an extra layer of criteria onto it. So like, for example, like this one is, the ADR is just under 7 and it's up almost 8%. So it's kind of like an ADR breakout as well. That doesn't look so bad, but it's kind of choppy. So that's the main one I like. Then I have just EP. If you look at Qualamagi, that's basically just EP. Basically, it's whatever's up, I think 7% in a day. Then this is bull combo, where the 200-day is moving up. ADR is set to 3. And I also have this universal list here. So that is looking at U.S. common stocks, ETFs, ADRs. I've got the dollar volume. Usually, I have this set a little low here. And then ADR. And price history above 2. So bull combo, then that I would go to this first. I know something can definitely make a move from below the 200 day. But for me, I perform better when I'm pulling stocks, going stocks along when they're above the 200. At least as swing trades. Now, day trading is probably a little different. So this is regular bull combo, just ADR set to 3. Then I have bear combo, ADR set to 3. Bear combo, ADR set to 3 with the 50-day moving down. Tesla, I've been wanting to get into that. What's Rivian doing? I did short Rivian last week for a little swing. And Tesla, it's just still in this chop zone, but this might not be a bad spot to try to do. Let me look at this Anchor View app. I used Anchor View app as well. So yeah, see, it came right up to that Anchor View app from here. So yeah, it could have been a good shorting opportunity there. I might short it with smaller size. One that I've tried yesterday with there it goes, Apple. If you look at the relative strength, the weakness is there, but it's really there on the daily chart. Look at this line and how low it is. It's already basically broken down, whereas the price hasn't yet. So this one I think it's a slow ADR. So I've actually played it with some options yesterday for a profit. I'm tempted to just get a short position. I'm sure they have plans for AI, but they definitely missed out on the huge wave of the AI movement with ChatGPT rolling out the store that they have. It's like that's the new app store. They have the goggles or whatever, the Vision Pro, but I think just looking at the price volume action tells me it wants to go lower. So maybe if it breaks this low, I'll probably put some type of order in here if it breaks this low. Anyway, getting off topic, but that's something like I would track in this list here, in this layout, and then I have 6 different lists that I go through there. So let's look at what else do I have. So then I have, this is like a micro cap scan for stuff that's moving. Generally, they have low floats. So with IWM just kind of setting up here, it's in a chop zone. Actually, it's looking pretty good on a daily. On a weekly, it's like, But you want this like I was doing a lot better in December when IWM was going straight up with the small caps. But yeah, this is starting to look pretty good here. Actually, I'm gonna flag this and keep an eye on it. Not that I'm gonna trade IWM. But yeah, this is just, if you want to day trade something, generally stuff from here I'm not swing trading. DRCT, look at that. Finally makes that breakout to new highs. Look at that, nothing but green volume there. For me, I prefer to look at the weekly chart as king. I'm using the weekly and daily for swings, and then for day trades, I'll jump down to the 1 minute. Generally, between the 1 and the 5 is what I'm looking at. Depends on how high the ADR is too. So down here I have this squeeze setup, but this number here is the ADR. So if you're looking at like something like Clean Spark, what is that? All right, let's just take Mara. Right, so the ADR is 1.11 on a 5-minute chart, so 1.1%. But look at CXAI. The ADR here is 6.32 on a 5-minute chart, and 1.57 on a 1 minute. So right now, let's see. I would say it's still below this area here. I'd look at. It's broken down. You could take it. If I were going to have to trade it here, I would take a small position, but I don't think this is the best setup. But anyway, the ADR is on a 1 minute chart is almost 2. So that's, I think, a very important thing to look at when you're day trading is you want the ADR to be high. So that is for day trading. I really have gotten away from using trade ideas. I think it's just a little bit too much of a distraction. Not to say, I do like it, but I think the more I simplify things, the better. This is already complicated enough. These are daily squeezes, right? Is this the daily squeeze? No, sorry, this is the weekly squeeze. I missed the daily. So then I have the daily squeezes, and I usually have it checked where ADR is above 5, the price growth. I have this special price growth thing built out here, and then I have price as a percent of 52-week high. So essentially, these are ones that have made a big move. Looking at the daily charts, and then I'm also looking at the daily of the relative strength as well. So I want to see the relative strength breaking out to new highs as well. So that's how I found one of the positions I have right now is from this scan. So you can get through it pretty quickly, but it's kind of hard because it's easier to trade continuation plays. Like this is one that I have, right? So buy signal and a squeeze. Then a weekly squeeze. And those are generally, I'm looking at those after hours anyway. And then I have positions. Right now, I'm not in my account. I don't want to, it's what, 125? I don't want to be trading right now. So I have that turned off. Trades that I've made and all the flagged symbols in here as well. So stuff that I've went through today and have flagged is in here. See, yeah, look at this apple. So red, obviously red is trending down. This is a buy signal in light blue, but it's below a moving average. So instead of green, it's just like that cyan color. But yeah, this is, I think that's a really good short setup. PLTR. So that is it. That's the main setup here. What else? I think I pretty much covered the entire setup there. And then pre-market, it's nice to just the way I have it come in. I can come in here in a quick snapshot and see like what's where. Cool. Let me know if you want to see anything else. I mean, I think that was pretty thorough. You know, if you want to look at some, I mean, I've done so many layouts over the years. It's insane, but I don't use them, and it's just too much trouble to delete them. So that's it. Pretty much this Cougar setup is the A1 best setup or layout that I have. Yeah, look at the sales growth on that.